Good morning and welcome to the Cornerstone Group Corner. This morning we have a special guest, Dental Care Plus, on the line with us. And we're going to start with just a refresher on some housekeeping items in the event that you haven't attended one of our webinars recently. If you have any questions, please type those in the question box and we will answer those at the end of the presentation. If there are any questions that we cannot answer or do not get to during the broadcast, we will be sure to get those answers out in session to all listeners. I am Shelley Brownell, the Senior Employee Benefits Director in Cincinnati, where it's a little cloudy and rainy this morning, and we appreciate you attending our webinar this morning. A couple of reminders in case you have not registered, you will want to do that as soon as possible on the website as you see listed there for our cash incentive program. We annually, for the past couple of years, have been giving out prize money to the top qualifiers that you see the places listed here, and that contest runs between January 1 of 2021 through December 31st. And you earn points based on lines of new business sold to Cornerstone, not moving to the other, but new business, and the top 15 qualifiers will earn cash. So please register. We cannot track your production if you are not registered on that site. We are also excited to bring to you a partnership exclusive to Cornerstone and you as a Cornerstone partner called EB3, and it is a great online system create benefit booklets for your customers, which can include design, annual employer notifications, wrap documents, SPDs, and more. Really easy to use. You kind of library plan designs and carriers on there, and it turns into a very nice professional booklet if you don't have the capability to print a print-on-demand order feature with that. So check that out. Without further ado, we're going to introduce Matt Butcher, who is the Cincinnati sales executive for the Dental Care Plus Group, a DentaQuest company. And Matt, go ahead.
Wonderful. Thank you, Shelley. Again, my name is Matt Butcher, and thank you for attending this morning. I am the sales representative for Dental Care Plus. I've been with Dental Care Plus for 3 years now, with all 3 of those years being in the new sales environment. Just a quick little bit about me. I'm a lifelong Cincinnatian, so Reds, Bengals, Bearcats, Skyline Graders. I'm sure everybody can relate to that. I did get my undergrad from UC in 2004, and then in 2013 got my MBA from Thomas More. So just, again, a little bit about myself. I want to say a quick thank you to Cornerstone for allowing me to speak this morning. I hope you find this information useful and well worth your time. I plan to speak for about 15, maybe 20 minutes, and then open it up to Q&A at the end. I've got all the time in the world, so please feel free to ask me anything that I will present on, or just anything about Dental Care Plus kind of in general. Next slide, Shelley. So quick agenda for today. We're going to talk about the Dental Care Plus group and DentaQuest. I want to introduce the Cornerstone dedicated team and maybe reintroduce as well. I know a lot of you are familiar with the team that you work with in conjunction with your Cornerstone broker advisor. So just a kind of quick refresher on that. Wanted to talk about our shelf rate products, product guidelines, network, what our differentiators are, and then I wanted to touch briefly on the broker portal as well that we rolled out earlier this year. Okay, so who is DentaQuest? This slide is basically kind of who they are, and I get this question a lot, and to be frank, this is a question that I had when it was announced that they were acquiring us. I come to find out they're huge. They're a very large player in the government areas, and we're looking to kind of expand into the commercial market, and that's where Dental Care Plus kind of came into play. I won't rehash all the numbers on the right that you see there, but it really gives you an idea of how large they, and now we, really are. the numbers kind of speak for themselves. It's a massive entity. I also appreciate that they have kind of a sole dedication to dental. Their technology, their forward thinking, it's great to see. I'm kind of excited for the future of this partnership and kind of what that leads to in the future. DentaQuest, they are headquartered out of Boston with offices throughout the country, stretching into like North Wisconsin, west to California, and then south to Florida. All right, Shelley, can you go to the next slide, please? Okay, so how exactly do we fit in with DentaQuest? This slide does a pretty good job illustrating kind of how we fit on the right-hand side. Again, they're big into the government programs, Medicare being at the top, and then Medicaid kind of at the bottom there. And then you see our kind of our footprint of how we fit. DentaQuest, they liked our model involving commercial business, and they've really kind of left that untouched. And as you'll see in the second bullet point there, DentaQuest views Dental Care Plus kind of as a centerpiece to a much larger goal of commercial acquisitions. And I do kind of expect that to occur down the road using Dental Care Plus as the footprint for that. Next slide, Shelley. Okay, so our commitment to the local market, and pretty much I would assume everybody on this call is local. We've got 4 in-state provider partner representatives regionally assigned. We're constantly recruiting, contracting, and credentialing. We offer robust provider training and education, both for initial providers that have come on board and those that have been with us for decades. Educating office staff on provider portal and other available resources. Regular touch points, including in-person and virtual visits to offices across the network. And then establishing a commercial dental advisory committee to allow providers a channel to advocate for themselves. Basically, to kind of sum up this slide, when it comes to the local market, there's nobody with a more robust network than Dental Care Plus. And I believe that to be due in part to a couple of reasons. Number one, we have a very large footprint of membership locally. And number two, as you see here, we're constantly in touch with our providers, both over the phone and in person, to kind of create stability and partnerships. And we're doing this constantly. So that kind of leads to a very large presence here locally. Next slide. Thank you, Shelley. So this is your team. Again, my name is Matt Butcher. I'm on the left there. Anything new sales would come to myself. If you go to the far right, Cassie Brown, she's kind of my support person. So for those of you that send us sold cases, you'll see her name kind of come back on email a lot if she has questions on the case itself, or if everything looks good, she'll give you the okay that this has been sent to processing. So you'll probably see her name a lot. Lindsay Nagel, she's been here for forever, it seems. She's basically my counterpart, and instead of doing the new stuff, she handles the established business. So anything that is ongoing, in force with us currently, she is your contact for renewals, for questions, for billing, just for anything really in general on the group itself. You would go to Lindsay for that. She does have a support person as well, kind of new to Lindsay, but she's been with Dental Care Plus for a while. Her name is Courtney. So you'll see that name pop up as well. So the three of us and then Courtney, we are, again, your dedicated team to Cornerstone, along with the broker advisor with Cornerstone. Next slide, Shelley.
Matt, we do have other attendees on the phone across the state. So if you maybe could list the representatives. I know Lindsay handles Columbus and Southwest Ohio, and then the representatives that would handle the North.
Yeah, absolutely. So I would handle anything Cincinnati, Dayton, Kentucky, and then your representative from Columbus moving north and northeast into Cleveland would be Katie Eisenhart.
Perfect.
So I wanted to talk about our shelf-rate products. I kind of wanted to spend a good amount of time really on this, and I realize some of this will be a refresher, some of this might be new, but it's important to really kind of make sure everybody's on the same page with this, because this is something that the Cornerstone brokers do sell a lot, and we get this product in a lot. So I wanted to make sure I touch on this, and then certainly if you have questions on this at the end, I'll be more than happy to answer. So our shelf rate products, HMO and PPO available in the greater Cincinnati area, and this includes our 4 Southwest Ohio counties and then our 4 Northern Kentucky counties. You have the option of doing an HMO or a PPO. If you are outside of that area, whether you're in the rest of Ohio, the rest of Kentucky, or all of Indiana, it's strictly a PPO that you'd be looking at. Shelf rate products, good for 2 to 50 eligible, and anything that you have eligible 10 or more, we do have the option to kind of move away from the shelf product and do a more kind of customer underwritten quote. So if there's something that you want on a plan that maybe our shelf product does not satisfy, that's a reason to look to kind of go with the customer underwritten plan. When it comes to pricing though, we do find our shelf rate product to be very competitive against our underwritten quote, and that's simply because it's pool rated versus kind of on an individual basis. We will run it both ways. So if you do send us a group with the census and what you're looking for, say it's 20 people, and we realize that the shelf is the better option, we'll tell you that. So we'll run both to make sure that you're given the most advantageous price point to your groups. Some of our plan features, no waiting periods. We do have a 4th quarter deductible carryover, annual open enrollment. We have a couple nice benefits that are built in as well, including hearing and vision. And then our rates, they are guaranteed for 2 years. And this is simply a reflection of listening to the brokers. For the longest time, we were 1 year, and we kept getting feedback that this needed to be 2 years, and we did it. At the end of the day, it's dental, so we don't want to make it more confusing than it has to be. And if we can give you a 24-month guarantee, then that's beneficial for, I think, both of us. All right, Shelley, next slide, please. Okay, so this slide and really the next slide talks about our PPO versus our HMO. And again, this is geared kind of towards the local market. If you are in one of our outer markets, it's kind of the PPO only. But I do want to kind of touch on this real briefly. When it comes to our PPO in the greater Cincinnati, Northern Kentucky area, it's going to be a touch more expensive than our HMO. And sometimes we'll get questions on, well, when do I use which? You know, should I use an HMO? Should I use a PPO? And it makes sense depending on the criteria that you're looking for and what you're looking to satisfy. When it comes to a PPO, if the group is domiciled here locally, but say they have people kind of scattered. We got an employee in Pennsylvania, we got a couple in Florida, 1 Tennessee, 1 Illinois, and so forth. You would want to look to our PPO. And it's simply due to you may need out-of-network benefits, where our network, you know, again, to be quite frank, is not quite as robust as it is here locally. Another reason why you might want to do that is, say the workforce is all local and you might want to use the HMO, but you have plans of expanding. And you can always switch to a PPO come renewal time, but if that expansion is going to come in the near future and it's imminent, you may want to use a PPO to kind of guard against, again, the network disruption that you might see. HMO, it's the exact kind of opposite of what I said. The benefits are going to remain really the same. The pricing is going to be a few points cheaper. But if your workforce is all local and you have really no plans to kind of expand and you're happy where you're at, then an HMO, there's no reason not to go with an HMO. You've got 97, 98% of the providers in our network. So again, it's a massive network, and it will give you a better price break than our PPO. With what you're looking at right here on a PPO, I didn't really list the benefits. I just kind of listed option 1, 2, and 3. It's what you would expect. Option 3 being the most robust plan. It's your typical 180/50 plan. And then you do have the option to add the orthodontia kind of below that. Option 1 is just more kind of a stripped down preventive care and basic only. And then option 2 kind of blends the two together. But again, option 3 is what we see more than anything. Contributory and voluntary, just like anything, contributory rates are going to be cheaper, and we'll go through the requirements of that in the next couple slides. Okay, Shelley, you can go to the next one as well. Thank you.
Yeah, it's a little.
So our shelf rate product guidelines. Current DCP groups, they're not eligible for these shelf rate plans. Groups that have terminated coverage with Dental Care Plus, not eligible for new shelf rate plans until 2 years have passed since the time of termination. Now we are able to give you an underwritten custom quote. You just can't come back on the shelf rate until that 2 years has passed. The plan itself, pretty generous, I think. It's pretty easy to meet participation. It requires a minimum enrollment of 25% of total eligible employees upon the implementation, and that is after waivers are taken out. So again, it's usually pretty easy to meet the 1 in 4 requirement there. It does also have to represent a minimum of 2 contracts. Question I get a lot is, can it be a husband and wife? And the answer is yes, as long as they are both receiving a paycheck, as long as they are deemed employees, they'll each have their own enrollment form. Yes, you are able to do a husband and wife. Contributory rates require a minimum contribution of 50% of the employee-only rate. That's kind of standard, I think, across the board. Deductible apply to basic major services only. Dependents are covered till the age of 26. And plans are effective for the first of the month affected dates only. Now, speaking on this real quick, we are pretty generous on retroing plans back to the 1st, so you have up until the 15th of that same month to have it retro back to the 1st of the month that you're in. For example, if somebody were to send me a case today on July 8th, you still are able to get a July 1st effective date, and that would run all the way up until July 15th. So something to keep in mind there. The last item there is actually an error. We no longer require EFT premium payments for required groups 2 to 9. That's no longer a requirement. So I want to call that out. So yeah, no longer required. Again, to kind of touch on the network, real brief, I know we went through that a little bit earlier, but locally our network continues to be at the top. I want to kind of touch on kind of a enhancement of our national network. So for groups in the past that you might not have thought have been the best fit for us, because again, you might have employees kind of scattered all over the place, I would give us a chance to maybe bid on that. We have seen tremendous growth in our network outside of the local market. So again, give us a shot at it. We can run various reports to illustrate access to care. We can run disruption reports. We can do reports against current providers that are utilized to kind of show you, is this a good fit or is it not? Because the last thing we want to do is put anybody in a bad spot with their group. So at the end of the day, if we are not a good fit for a group that's maybe outside of our local market, believe me, I will tell you that. But again, it's quite a improvement on our network outside locally and nationally, and really the last year since the acquisition. Next slide, Shelley. On the,
sorry, I was a little frozen.
That's okay, thank you. On the differentiators, I won't go through all of them, but there are a couple here that I kind of like to highlight that I think really sets us apart from the competition. 2 cleanings per calendar year. You don't have to wait 6 months. You don't have to worry about, has 6 months passed from the last time? That's not the case with us. You get 2 a year. Sealants every 5 years until the age of 15. Crown, denture, and bridge replacement every 5 years. And the biggest thing I think for us is the 3rd bullet point from the bottom. There are no waiting periods at all for anything. So you could not have dental for 20 years and come on board. When it comes to group insurance with us, there are no waiting periods. And that goes for cleanings, that goes for fillings, that goes for anything, all major care. It's a very good benefit if you have a virgin group that has not had dental coverage, and there might be some fear of some bills coming their way because they would have to satisfy a waiting period with somebody else. That's simply not the case with us. So again, quite a differentiator, I think, for us. The other thing I want to call out is the full mouth or panoramic x-rays every 3 years. Again, I think that's pretty generous in relation to our competition. Next slide. Thank you, Shelley. With that kind of concludes what I really wanted to say today. I kind of spoke for, like I anticipated, 15 or 20 minutes. And before I open it up to Q&A, I wanted to touch briefly on the broker portal that we had rolled out earlier this year, probably a few months back, maybe a little more. Ideally, I would have been able to do some sort of demonstration, but at this present time, we really do not have a test environment. So I'm fully aware of the challenges we had earlier on, and I appreciate the patience of everybody that has used the broker portal. It didn't go according to plan, we'll say, but again, thank you very much for your patience with that. With that said, I'm willing to go over the broker portal one-on-one with any of you, where I can actually pull up your book that is specific to you, and we can go through the broker portal. I can show you the different tabs, different administrative things you can do. I just want to make sure everybody is comfortable using that. It is a lot different than the portal that you all are used to using. So again, I just want to make sure there's a very good comfort level with our broker portal. I listed my information there on purpose, so you can kind of jot that down. My email address is right there. So, please feel free to reach out. I'll be more than happy to assist. And if and when you do reach out, please do so in conjunction with your Cornerstone broker advisor, and we will facilitate that training. I just want to, again, make sure everybody's comfortable with the new portal. So with that said, what kind of questions do you have for me today on really anything I presented, anything Dental Care Plus in general, just anything at all that I can help you out with?
I don't see anything in the chat just yet for any questions.
Can you, if you look under questions, Shelley, under the drop down under questions, or
I apologize. Yeah. Yeah. Can a 2-life group include orthodontia? If not, what is the minimum size for orthodontia, Matt?
It cannot. So the minimum ortho would be 5 enrolled employees. And again, no waiting period on orthodontia.
Okay, great. Jess, I'm sorry, it's not letting me view that second question, if you don't mind.
Yeah, sure. She also mentioned if we could email the slideshow to attendees.
Oh, will the slideshow be available? I would say yes, that we're able to send the slideshow out to everyone following the presentation. We actually post that on our website under resources. So if you haven't visited the Cornerstone website, you would be able to find everything there, crnstone.com, and then under the resources, and then travel track to our webinar series, and you'll see all the recorded broadcasts out there. Do you see anything else, Jess?
Yes. Can you have a dual choice in a group, like a plan 1 with a plan 3?
Yes, so if I'm understanding the question, it sounds like they are asking, can you have like a core buy-up type thing where you offer 2 different plans? On the shelf product, you cannot. So that is a one size for everybody. If you have 25 or more eligible, that's where you do have the option of having a core and a buy-up, or A, B, whatever you want to call it. We can run 2 different plans if that group desires to do that. But no, anything on the shelf, you cannot have any type of core buy-up, dual option, whatever it might be. It's either option 1, 2, or 3. And to kind of further expand on the dual option, when you send us the quote to manually underwrite, we just really need a census and kind of what you're looking for, whether we're matching a current plan. I would just need the benefit guide, or if it's a new group altogether, just kind of let me know what you're looking for. I need 100% preventive, 80% basic, implants covered, and so on.
Jess, do you see anything else?
Nope, that's all.
Well, again,
okay.
Thank you for everybody. I appreciate it, and all of Cornerstone, thank you so much for letting me speak this morning.
Thanks, Matt. We do appreciate it, and always good to update and refresh ourselves on the Dental Care Plus products, well known throughout this, and brokers certainly have a lot of, so we appreciate you doing this morning. Take care. Thanks, everybody. Have a good day.